trust is lost in buckets, but gained back in drops.
Yeah.
So you could have an entire 5-gallon bucket of trust built up.
Yeah.
But one thing that you never said you would do, you do, and the whole bucket goes out.
Gone.
And now you have to come back and every day.
Drop by drop.
Drop by drop. You don't get a fountain of trust built back up. And that's where most relationships fail, is because they lost the trust and they were not diligent enough to build it back up.
Because it takes a lot of hard work.
But the problem is you have history with that person, and a lot of times they would rather start over with somebody else to do the same exact thing. Instead of going back and, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, no, didn't we talk about this? Oh, come on. But no, this is valuable. And I'm the one who tipped this thing over. And so I'm going to be the one to be consistent enough or disciplined enough to put those drops back in.
What's been the biggest lesson for you in the last 10 years of putting drops back in over a decade plus with your wife? What's the lesson you've learned as a human being through that discipline, through that daily drop?
Yeah.
After breaking trust, you know, back in the past.
Yeah. Trust is way more valuable than money. Trust is way more valuable than connection. Trust is way more valuable. There's a book that I encourage everybody to read. It's called The Speed of Trust. And it basically, the premise is that where there's trust, everything takes less energy.
Yeah.
It takes less money, and it has better results. But where there is no trust, it takes more energy, it takes more money, and there are minimal results.
Yeah.
And you can apply this to business, relationships, you can apply it to your family. And I think our culture is one that doesn't trust. You prove to me. And at the moment that we don't go into situations with trust, there's this disconnection that doesn't allow people, like, the vibe's not right, or all these different sayings. I think for me, I've learned that trust is probably a higher commodity than anything else. My greatest relationship, me and my wife, Natalie, don't have to be doing anything, but when I'm in a bed in a hotel with a woman that I fully trust, it's more satisfying than any platform I've ever been on.
Wow.
It's more euphoric. It's more when I can say something and somebody believes me and I don't have to prove it to them, but they know what I'm saying is real.
That's an amazing feeling.
Oh, what are you talking about? Name the places you get that. Name the places you got to make presentations to make people you pay believe you. Come on, let's be honest. Like, because there's still not full trust there. But when you put in so much trust that person, your yes is a yes and your no is a no,
and they fully
trust what you say. Yeah. When I told my wife that I was gonna take care of her and I would never hurt her again, and to be able to now, 10 years removed, we just did a 10-year vow renewal, and we went out to this sand desert, and now it was me and our 3 kids, and we're sitting there, and glass runway, it's on YouTube, and we just, like, it was just the most beautiful thing to look into her eyes and say the words unscripted that came from my heart, and to look in her and knew they were hitting her heart, and she fully trusted what I said. You can't tell me nothing. Like, nobody, like, there's no feeling like that. And the sad truth, Louis, is most people will never feel that. They will never know what it is to have another human being with your flaws, with knowing the worst about you. I can't hide from my wife. She knows everything that I do. She knows when I do take showers and when I don't take showers. She knows when I leave the toilet seat up and when I put it down. She knows, like, so in the most vulnerable place, she knows when I do my workout and when I don't. Like, I can't hide from her. I can hide from people on social media. Right. I can hide from people that I work with, but from her, I'm vulnerable. And to know when I speak, she trusts it. It was well worth everything that I had to do.
And what happens if you are 100% in integrity with your word?
Yeah.
You're following through, you're being honest, you're showing up, you're delivering in a relationship, but the person doesn't trust you.
Yeah.
After years.
Yeah.
And you're like, You have access to my phone.
Yeah,
you
it's
have
real.
my passwords. You know where I'm at 24/7.
Yeah.
And you still don't trust me. Is that still my responsibility, or is that the other partner's work they get to do?
So the beautiful thing about the story that I'm telling you from my side.
Yeah.
But if you were to talk to my wife right now, there were things she had to do on her own during this whole process, or she wouldn't have made it. She wasn't sitting there like, prove to me that you were. No, there was self-discovery she was going on. Do I want to stay in this relationship? Is this worth it? What do I bring? What do I have? What am I worth? And that's why I tell people all the time, no matter if you're a couple, you're still single. Like, even though you're in a relationship, you still have to be single enough to continue to improve. A lot of people stop improving once they get in a relationship.
Like, I got it.
Like,
what else do I need to do?
I made it and all that other stuff. But when you are in a relationship, there are still two very single people that need to work on their communication, work on their insecurities, work on their ability to communicate, and if you stop developing your singleness in marriage or in relationship, that relationship is headed for at one point for somebody to be on another level and be like, this is not what we signed up for.
Right.
Hey, I thought we were partners. I thought we were doing this together. I thought we were growing and going towards this together. And that's why I encourage people all the time, like, what have you brought to the relationship lately? Like, what skills have you improved in? What has your emotional intelligence gone to another level? Has your spiritual awareness gone to another level? Has your faith gone to another level? Have you learned a new language? So when we go on our vacation 2 years from now, we don't get swindled at the what are you bringing to the relationship? And I just would encourage every couple not to focus on, because when I say this, a lot of times they'd be like, see, you ain't brought nothing to the relationship in 3 years, Kathy. Like, hold on 1 second. Like, no, ask yourself, what have you brought to the relationship?
Right.
And if you both are asking yourself, that's part of the reason we wrote that this book, Taking Your Relationship from Good to Great, because it allows people to evaluate where they're at spiritually, emotionally, and then be able to say, what do I need to change? How do I need to do this? And that's the only way that you can go from good to great in any relationship.
Yeah. My friend Matthew Hussey talks about this. He talks about relationships for women, on how to really attract the right man in their life, the right partner. And he said to me one time, if you want to find a great partner, make a list of all the things you want from them and then become that list yourself. And whatever you want in someone else, you need to become that first and really add that value to them as well. And it's kind of like what I'm hearing you say is, okay, after a year, 2, 5, 10 years, you have to keep becoming that list yourself. To keep that partner excited or engaged and trustworthy and connected, and both parties have to be working on that list. Is that right?
Now, I have a little different perspective on the list, because sometimes the list limits you.
Ooh, tell me more.
Like, so I tell people a lot of time, because specifically a lot of my sisters, a lot of they make lists. Now they got lists. He got to be 6'5". He's got to have this amount of money.
But
he's got to do that.
becoming the things that they want from the qualities, not the
things.
The qualities.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes I do believe that there are certain things that you need to be able to lay out and really ask yourself, am I becoming those things? I don't think, though, the package always comes the way you think it's going to come.
True.
And so a lot of times,
like 6'5", shredded,
and all kinds of things, even some of the qualities, because the thing is, I tell people this, you write down what you want. I believe God factors in with your mate what you need to.
That's true.
See, the problem is, like, if you ask Natalie, I'm not what she wanted.
What did she want?
She wanted some big Hispanic model for lotion. Like, she wanted somebody, you know what I'm saying? The typical, beautiful, but what she needed was me. And when you look, a lot of people make these lists at the beginning of their list, but somebody needs to start a podcast interviewing couples who actually made it.
Right.
So you maybe need to do a series of relationships who lasted for 40 plus years.
That thrived.
Not
that stayed together and resented each other.
And not that were business partners.
Right.
That thrived. Because if you ask a lot of them, which I did a lot of research writing Relationship Goals, the book, when you ask them, most of them did not get what they wanted on their list. They got what they found out they needed.
Ooh.
And Honestly, the things that I need, I don't never write down on the list because I need somebody to help encourage me when I want to go have ice cream instead of stick to my diet. I don't write that down on the list. I just write down I want somebody supportive. Well, in my mind, when I'm writing that down on the list, I'm thinking support me in whatever I'm feeling at that moment. Maybe not support me in what I've decided in a different moment. And I need that, but it's not necessarily that I want it. And I found out that a lot of times when you rip up the list and start becoming the best version of you that you can be, you will then begin to see that I am now worthy and worth being with somebody who's worthy and worth being with.
Right.
And you don't settle for a lot less. And that's why I called it a relationship goal. I know it's a popular term in culture. But I said people aren't doing good at relationship is because they don't have aim. Like they're not aiming at a goal that actually is going to produce the greatest end for them.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.